Welcome to Lancashire Business Stories, the podcast that does exactly what it says on the tin. I'm your host, Paul Lim, and every week we're joined by local business owners to talk about their journey into business and how they've grown and scaled their own organisations. We'll talk about some of the challenges they've faced along the way and the successes that they've had in growing their businesses, so you, our listeners and viewers, can learn and apply those same principles into your own business, so you can grow and succeed. If this is the first time that you've watched or listened to the podcast, please hit the subscribe or follow button. Hope you enjoyed the show. Let's get to it. Liam Mulligan, welcome to Lancashire Business Stories.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to see you.
Do you know what? It's genuinely a pleasure to be here. I've never really been asked to do an interview before. Honestly, I've only been asked to do an interview once before, and it was 20 minutes.
So you're so shy and quiet and unassuming. I'm quite surprised.
I turn more down than I accept, I have to say.
Honoured. I'm honoured. Liam, we've known each other since 2020.
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
We met during COVID.
Yeah. You never knew I was so tall.
I know. Well, somebody said that to me once. I met them during COVID. They became a client during COVID. In fact, it was somebody who was in the networking group that we'll touch on later on. And when I met him for the very first time, I got out of my car and he went, didn't realise you were so tall, but I thought you were quite short. I went, what do you mean? He said, well, I've only ever seen you sitting down in front of a camera. And it never ever occurred to me all
Strange times that.
Anyway, we'll come back to that in a little while. We're going to do what we always do and start with how did you get started? What was your early career like before you became a business owner? And how did you end up from where you started out to where you are now? So what was your first job?
So I'm one of them interesting characters that has never been employed.
Really?
So I've never been employed. So I've had a short stint of PAYE actually last year, which maybe we can talk about, where I did a little bit of consulting for a hospitality firm, but we'll maybe come back to that. But I went straight into business straight out of college.
Wow, and what was your
18,
first?
a fish and chip shop.
Really?
So yeah, I had a fish and chip shop when I was
Did you
18.
buy that or start it?
I was lucky enough that since the age of 13, I've been working in fish and chips, and I saved up a bit of money throughout my 15, 16, 17-year-old, and I really disappointed my mum when I said I didn't want to go to university. 16-year-old, I said, I'm not going. Didn't want to go, which is probably my only regret in life, actually, but we'll maybe come back to that. And I've been in fish and chips, and my dad had seen a fish and chip shop for sale in Lancaster. And he said, maybe you should have a look into that. You're business driven. And he bought me a book when I was much younger, How to Start a Business, and it was all cartoons. And I thought, I could do this. Yeah. I couldn't, actually, which it turned out, do it. The plot twist is I couldn't do it, and I still can't. But at the age of 18, just after my 18th birthday, pretty much, within a few months, bought a fish and chip shop.
Wow.
With a bit of help from family, but bought it.
And is that still in existence now in Lancaster?
It is.
Whereabouts in Lancaster?
In High Bentham. So between Settle or Ingleton, Settle and Lancaster, on that stretch where nobody really goes.
Yeah. And are you from Lancaster originally?
No, I'm a Burnley lad. Well, I'm a Barraforder. Yeah. But I can't say Burnley, but yeah, Barraford. So I used to schlep up there we were in Barnoldswick at the time, my family lived, every day to Lancaster. Wow. Every morning, took the fish delivery, did all the food, and then closed up at 8 o'clock and came back home 6 days a week for 4 years.
Hard work.
Hard graft. But I was 18 and I knew nothing more. And frankly, I've never had more money in my life than I did when I was 18, 19 doing fish and chips. It was coming out my ears.
And did you sell that business?
Yes, I sold it at 22. And then
what prompted you to sell it then?
I think I've always wanted to be like my dad. Now, I'm never going to show him this podcast, so it's okay. But I think you'll probably hear this from a lot of people, that I think I always wanted to be like my dad. My dad, when I was growing up, always wore a suit. He was the operations director of a building society in Lancashire. And he always wore a suit. Very smart, very driven, very commercially driven. Went into business on his own, actually, when I was maybe 15, 16. And I just wanted something more than cooking fish and chips, frankly. Although the money was fantastic, I just wanted something more. I wanted to wear a suit.
So when you say you owned a fish and chip shop, were you actually working in the fish and chip shop every day?
Every day.
So you pretty much, I don't mean this in a derogatory sense, but like a lot of business owners, when they first set off, you owned a job.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, great point. And I did more than anybody else. Yeah. And I made my team's life easier by, instead of trusting them to open up, I would be there because I would be the only one who could open up.
Out, knew more than everybody else.
Always. Even on a Sunday, which was my day off, I would go up on a Sunday to cut the fish up ready for the next day because I couldn't trust them to cut the right size of fillet. Every day. I had maybe 10 team members, and at 18 years old, as a an acne-ridden 18-year-old who thought he was the best thing ever, I learned a lot of lessons really quickly. Things like just letting people have time off whenever they wanted. I didn't really know the rules. I'd never employed anybody before. And there was no, and this makes us sound old, but there was no internet to research to.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was just thrown into this business. Learned sick leave, parental leave, and did all my book work on what they used to call a Simplex D book, which was double entry Simplex D, and always put your figures in pencil. Because at the end of the month, you'd have to put your proper figures in pen. You'd have to rub it out. It was one of them. So I learned a lot in that case. But sold it at age 22 and then went on to finance. So I wanted to be honest. My dad had always been in finance. He'd started a commercial mortgage brokerage, which was doing tremendously well. But he didn't have anywhere to do residential mortgages. I said, I'll do it. I can do it. I didn't know anything about finance. I'll do it. So I did my CMAP, did my insurance qualifications on an evening, and started a limited company, started a mortgage brokerage. Didn't have any clients, didn't have any affiliations with any banks, but I got involved. And I got in touch and I just wrote to them and said, I want to do some mortgages. Will you take me on board? They said, you need your proper qualifications. So I got that, got my accreditation with the SA as it was back then, or FCA, I forget which way around it was now, and then started doing mortgages. And that really set me off in life. I just did mortgages, then built it up to a few staff members, team members, should I call them now? Again, learnt a lot, used to call them staff members, now team members. Again, so many lessons.
How many people did you have working with you?
So we had 10 working.
Right.
10 working. So I had people out on the road, I had admin team, again, 22, still acne ridden, still thought I was the best thing ever. But it turns out that I wasn't because we had so many challenges. The challenges were, we went through 2008. I had 2 really good years of mortgage broking and 2008 came along and it went, So we had to let a few people go, restructure the business, take smaller offices, but we survived. And that's really where it started. Then I've moved on to lots of other things since then, but and then sold that book of clients, and then that set me up really.
So when did you sell that business?
I was early 30s, so I was on the cusp of my 33rd birthday, and then I have to say I drifted around for a few years, not really knowing what I was going to be doing. Went into, this is where paths take you, but I went into credit card machine brokering. Because I was floating around.
What a wide and varied career you've had, Liam.
Yeah, I've missed out the part that I was an estate agent, I had an estate agency firm and was on Homes Under the Hammer.
Oh, were you?
That's another,
I know a couple of other people who've been on that as well, actually. A couple of estate agents in and around Bolton have been on that
Great
as well.
experience. Great experience. Get a phone call one day.
Fish and chip shop from being 18 to 22. Mortgage broker from being 22, 23 to 32, 33.
About
so
10
another
years
10
ago now.
years.
Yeah.
And then an estate agent?
We had an estate agent at the same time as the mortgage brokerage, which sold
So when you say we,
Birmingham.
is that you and your dad? Or
sorry, the team. Forgive me, it was the team that we had. But yeah, it was my ownership.
So you kept that after you sold the mortgage?
To be honest with you, I just closed that down, frankly. I wasn't enjoying it as much as I thought it was. I thought that the estate agency would feed more clients for the mortgage brokerage, which it did and it didn't. Yeah. But it was, again, depended on me doing the selling. And I wanted to be that person going out the properties. And I just couldn't find the right people to help me with that. So I just said, we'll finish that off. At the same time as we sold the mortgage book, we just potted that. And that was all right.
So you couldn't sell that estate business?
Yeah, I could, but I'm the kind of person that once I've switched off to something, I'm done. And I didn't want to go through the motion of
keeping it
selling
going
anything. And I don't think there was much value there. We weren't we weren't Petties or we weren't a big brand. We were just me and a team selling a few properties.
And the mortgage broker business, obviously people will get a mortgage, you get an upfront payment, and then do you get a regular commission from the mortgages, or is it just a one-off?
It's a one-off.
It's a one-off.
What they call a procuration fee.
So you say you sold the book for the mortgage company?
Because there's a value to them remortgaging with you in a year or 2 years down the line.
So whatever length of mortgages, if they're on.
Yeah. No, it's never a given. They could just go direct. But it tends to be if you've got a strong relationship with that client and you've got a strong brand name, which we had, then someone goes, you've got 500 clients that have mortgaged with you in a period of 5 years. They're coming up in the next 5 years,
Yeah.
and therefore
So
there's a value of X.
Calculation.
Yeah,
so
there's a value
figure
of
out what it
X.
is.
And we will pay you X for that future business.
Yeah. So they were paying you for the book rather than for your brand.
The brand disappeared. And that's really what happened with a lot of stuff like that.
So early 30s, when this must be like a year or two ago.
Yeah,
no more than a year or two ago.
Yeah. Sure. to everybody, I'm turning 43 this year, so in July. So 10 years ago. And I know, and I messed around for a bit, and I genuinely messed around. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then somebody told me about the rise of these credit card machines. And I'm not saying it was that, it's only 10 years ago, but there was decent commissions to be earned.
Yep. Some people are still doing it.
And do you know what? I think it's a brilliant business, but I think it's all about having scale to it. And maybe that's a different conversation. I did that. I did my training on it, and I quickly found out that it was hard graft, really hard graft. Now, none of us are afraid of hard work, but I am not that person to go and knock on doors for cold sell. I'm just not that person. I need that warmed up opportunity, but we'll come on to. And my stepfather at the time said, if you don't like knocking on doors, then you need to join a networking group. He was part of a networking group in Burnley, at Burnley Football Club, BNI, and I'd never heard of this. And I know we're going to talk about this maybe in a bit. Went on to a networking group, still didn't like selling credit card machines. Did it for 6 months. Then the president at the time said, why don't you come and work with me? I'm wanting to start a commercial finance brokerage. I'd done it previously, of course. So we started a commercial finance brokerage together, which kind of did its thing. Then I got an opportunity to be part of the BNI franchise, which was a great opportunity for me.
Yep.
Did quite a lot around Lancashire, and that's how we met. And then that takes us to maybe the end of COVID. And then I just said, I've had enough of everything. Which again it's another topic.
Yeah,
I've had enough of everything.
Probably not for today.
Maybe not. Maybe that's it. Yeah, it's a late night edition of this podcast, and decided that I was just going to chill out and do it. And alongside everything, I've always looked after clients from a sort of business support point of view as well.
Yeah,
and have some clients that do that day in day out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, look, we'll come back to the networking bit,
of course,
in a bit. Sort of talking more about it as a marketing strategy. So that takes you to what, 22?
Yeah, 22, 23, yeah.
And now you've got a bridal business.
So alongside that, my
bridal business, ladies and gentlemen.
Somebody asked me actually
how did that start?
Yeah, my beautiful wife, Melissa, who is a solicitor.
Yeah.
We met at networking, as it happens.
So BNI's got something to...
Yeah, that's that. I didn't come out with anything other than a wife, which is the best thing, really, the best thing that, and genuinely. We met at BNI in 2019, and I really didn't like Melissa to start with. Again, we're gonna talk about this. Where
Melissa might be listening.
But I'm going to play this back to her, but I really didn't like her. I suspect that the feeling was very mutual. Because I think I take a long time for people to warm up to me, but we started talking. That's very kind. That's very kind. But anyway, there's another topic. We met there, and within a couple of years, we were engaged.
Brilliant.
Loved her as soon as I met her. The second time I met her, loved her. Absolutely loved her. At a networking meeting in Clitheroe, and we got engaged. And instead of planning a wedding, Melissa, she is a beautifully ambitious person. Never been in business before, learning as she goes. And she said, I want to do something more with my life. She said, she liked being a solicitor. She still is a solicitor, but she wanted more. And I'm not saying being a solicitor isn't enough, but for her, it wasn't enough, and it isn't enough. Yeah. She said, I want to be in the wedding business. I'm like, okay, fine. What do you want to do? You can be anything. She could be anything, a florist, a photographer. I said, if you want to be in, you need to find a business that you don't have to be in to run. Topic we'll come on to, that you don't have to be there all day, every day, that you can replicate, that has got a barrier to entry, because anyone can become a photographer, and I mean that. Anyone can become a florist, or there's a little bit of stock needed, but to open a bridal studio, it's a £50,000 investment to get going. I am going to come back onto your point, forgive me, but it needs a bit of investment. So we said, well, we've got this money saved up, we can either have a wedding, or we can open a business. And we decided to open a business. So open a business, we got married last year, so we finally did it. And it's Melissa's dream to have a bridal studio. And that's really the reason. And the other thing, probably half of the reason, is that I didn't want a business I had to sell in anymore. I am not a good salesperson. I'm a terrible salesperson. Terrible. I don't like asking for commitment off people. I don't like cold calling. I don't like that somebody telling me no. Don't like it. It's just not my personality. And as much as maybe it can be trained into me, I don't like it. It just fills me full of, okay, if you don't want it, fine. I don't need to eat tonight. So I needed a business that was not me at the front.
Yeah.
And Melissa can do the selling. And she sells brilliantly because she's just so natural. It's not forced.
Yeah.
And she sells all the time. It's great. So I do the admin and all of the books and whatever. And we opened the bridal studio in 2021.
Do you ever sit there and listen to her when she's working with clients? With the bridal clients?
It's a great question. So initially, no. We had a tiny studio, which the only thing we could afford at the time, which was £400 rent a month. We then expanded to a purpose-built place a mile down the road, and we opened a coffee shop with the new bridal studio. So now it's a bit strange that in the quiet moments in the coffee shop, I can hear her selling, talking to these brides.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, because and I guarantee you'll say yes to this, she'll be talking to them. You will never hear her using what somebody would class as salesy talk.
Fair.
She'll be having a conversation with them and she's saying, which one do you like best?
Yeah.
Do you prefer that one or that one? Which one do you think, oh, you look beautiful in that one? So she'll be using an alternative clause without you going, oh, that's an alternative clause.
Interesting. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Sales isn't necessarily about being salesy. It's about using specific techniques that sometimes come naturally without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
To have a conversation with somebody, to lead them to a conclusion which is the best route for them.
Interesting.
So
yeah, you're absolutely right.
And that, because I'm the same. If somebody said, go and pick up the phone to somebody you've never ever spoken to before and do a cold call, that would just go.
Yeah, it's not for me.
It's not me. It is for some people. It's a really good technique for generating new inquiries. Not a closing, it's a sales.
Yeah, it's the top of the funnel stuff.
Top of the funnel, get an inquiry sort of thing. But I will pick up the phone and ring people who've been warmed up. But even some people will, if they don't pick up the phone the first time, they'll go, yeah. In fact, I was talking to Sean this morning because there was somebody that is on our list of prospects. And she said, you've emailed this prospect 2 or 3 times and you've called them and then you gave up. Why did you give up? And I went, I don't really know. Yeah, I got bored, I think. And you should never get bored with that. And we were listening to Jeb Blount last week at BizX. Jeb Blount's like owner of a company called Sales Gravy, one of the world's best sales trainers.
Okay.
And the thing he said to me was, if pipeline is everything, if you haven't got anybody in your pipeline, then every sale that you get the chance at, you'll be desperate for. So if you've got a full pipeline, if you miss one, then you don't come across as desperate. And he says, so pipeline is everything. And you've just got to be more squirrel. And what he meant by that is if you ever see a grey squirrel or a red squirrel out in your garden, you see these videos of them climbing over these assault courses and they'll try different things to get to the nuts and they never give up. You'll never see a squirrel give up to try and get the nuts. They'll try the same thing over and over, different things to try and get the nuts. So he just said, you've got to be more squirrel. As a salesperson, as a marketer, you've got to be more squirrel. And I've forgot what we were talking about. But it's about sales and just about having a conversation with people.
And where do you think for you that comes from, that because I'm always doing some analysis on why I don't like that rejection and I don't like that call. Have you analysed where you think that comes from for you?
Therapy. Yeah. In most of the business owners that I work with, probably 50% of them we encourage to see a therapist because it's mindset issues.
Yeah.
That are deep set and probably from childhood or youth.
I guarantee it.
And it's the same for me. And we all have a different behavioural style and different personality as well. But the stuff that holds us back isn't not knowing how to do something. It's doing what we know needs doing. And every marketer will tell you the same thing, every salesperson or every business owner will tell you the same thing if they're being really truthful.
I agree. I tell you on that point, sorry to interrupt, but we have a formula at the bridal studio that if we'll sell to every 1 in 4 brides. We'd like it to be 2, we'd like it to be 3, and it's more 2 this year than it is last year. And about 2.5 years ago, we call it the fallow period, and it was nearly disaster for us. And we'd gone about 4 or 5 months without selling a dress, which is fine because we're doing it part-time and we were funding the business to get it going and everything that we earned was going back into the business. It was okay, but Melissa had a mini meltdown almost. She was like, I'm not selling, I don't know what's going on, we've got all these dresses that we need to sell, etc. And I said, and I'm the constant throughout everything. I said, it'll be all right. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing the right things. Keep doing it. Read a bit more. And she did some online training. There's a coach that does specific sales techniques for bridal studios. Which is great. In America, a bit American, but the technique's the same. And she did about 3 or 4 weeks of this. And she changed her style a little bit. She got a bit more belief in her. And then all of a sudden it just turned. It was absolutely just on one day, and then now she just can't stop selling. We're just changing that technique a little bit. Her mindset changed a little bit. She knew that it was all right to fail, but she was never going to fail because at the end of the day, we just close it down, we walk away. But she had that belief that it didn't matter. And when she relaxed, it was great. And that's been her attitude ever since.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to talk to Melissa about what the key phrases were and what she changed. Anyway,
absolutely. She's far better interviewee than I am.
I would say that she did exactly the right thing. If it's not working, then change it. Go and get some training, go and get some help from somebody. We run a 12-week sales masterclass for people and a marketing masterclass as well to help people get the inquiries in the first place. So it's either, when that situation happens, it's either you're not getting enough leads in the first place or not enough of them are converting. Where does the problem lie? Is it that you've stopped converting, your conversion rate's gone down, or you're not getting as many people coming through the door? So then numbers are the language of business.
Absolutely.
So you've just got to look at where the issue lies, and then if it's not working, change it. There's a phrase written on my flip chart over there that you haven't seen that says, "What got you here won't get you there." Because sometimes you'll get to a certain point, and you've got to change something to move it on and push it forwards.
Sometimes easier said than done, though. Of course, in that when you're in the mire and you're not getting any sales, and you've got people knocking on your door wanting to pay bills, you just get consumed by that element, and you can't go. I've got to cut my marketing because I've got to be able to pay that bill. And that's where support from you and your colleagues comes in really vital, because you need to be able to go, actually, I know you're firefighting here and I know you've got that issue there, but let's just step back, take some clarity. Let's look at the numbers and let's see, because the more you've got coming in at the top, these problems will disappear. Yeah. It's all right when you've got a healthy business. You can have as many bills as you want.
Yeah. Yeah, the most successful companies that we work with during COVID tripled their marketing budgets. You work harder you need to in times like that.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
And a lot of companies do exactly that. They cut the budgets. They cut the marketing budgets.
Same to go. I agree. Yeah. It's a terrible idea, but I understand that the pressure that people are under when they think, well, I need that £4,000, £1,100 to pay for X, Y, and Z. Yeah. But it's a really easy decision to make.
Yeah. Cash flow is king. If you haven't got cash flow, it kills your business. So sometimes you have to make difficult decisions.
I agree.
But there are a number of other areas to look at as well when you're in a situation like that.
Fair.
That probably aren't for today.
Absolutely.
Anyway, let's get back to talking about your business. So Feathers and Florence, is it a full-time business? When do you, is it like a permanent shop? Are you open all the time? Tell me a little bit more about it.
Yeah, it's a good question. We both run it part-time.
Yeah.
We run it full-time, but the store for appointments is only available Friday and Saturdays, sometimes Sundays.
Yeah.
Our target market, we are really keen on our target market in terms of we know exactly the name of the bride that we want coming through that studio.
Yeah.
Only actually wants to see us on a weekend because they work during the week. They are doctors and dentists and whatever it may be. So they only want to see us on a weekend. So we specifically said our target market won't want to come to see us Monday at 2:00. Because they're doing other things. They want to bring the mum and the bridesmaid, et cetera, et cetera. So we said, actually, our focus is going to be on a weekend.
Yeah. By appointment only?
By appointment only. So they have to book, and they have to book 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah.
We don't allow last-minute bookings. Again, our target market is a planner. She plans all of her events. Yeah. So we had a phone call this morning at the shop. Have you got any appointments available on Saturday at 9:00? We don't. We're fully booked, but we wouldn't allow them to book. Because they're not our bride. So we're really restrictive, and we actually only allow 10 appointments a week. So over the Friday afternoon and the Saturday, sometimes the Sunday if we're too busy. Because we don't want to be too busy, but 10 appointments, selling 10 dresses in 10 appointments. We're at Tenerife for Christmas, frankly. It's a great business. Or we won't be there right now with the conversion. Not every bride buys, and maybe I can talk about a lesson that I learned early days about how the bridal industry works and how brides are very picky, of course. So yeah, we open on a weekend, although the lights are on, literally the lights are on all day, every day, because we have a coffee shop next door, which my mother-in-law looks after. I make the coffee on a Saturday and she looks after the coffee shop during the week. I love my Saturdays in the coffee shop. mainly because I'm working next to Melissa and I want to spend more time with her.
How romantic.
It is. I don't mean that I never thought I'd be that person.
Yeah.
Never, ever thought I'd be that person. I got married at 40 years old and I thought, I won't ever be that person. But honestly, it's the best thing in the world. It's the best thing. I get to make her dinner for her. I get to make her unlimited cups of coffee.
So Melissa's a full-time solicitor.
She is.
And when she's not being a full-time solicitor, she's working for the rest of the time in the shop.
Yep.
Selling fantastic dresses to fantastic brides.
Absolutely.
What are you doing with your week?
Yeah, it's a great option. So I'm a very happy house husband. Very happy house husband.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, true that. I want for nothing. I really want for nothing. I'm too far gone in my career to be chasing that £1 million, that 2 million, that fortune. So I look after some clients from a bookkeeping point of view.
Yeah.
And I do a bit of business advice, but not on your level. Mainly, I've got this VAT return coming. I've just crapped my pants. What do I do?
Yeah.
And I'll say, listen, let's do this. I met a client this morning who had a council tax issue or a business rates issue. We need to write her a letter. Get that sorted.
Helping
She's
them
happy.
out with financial challenges.
Yeah. For a nominal amount a month, frankly. And I've got some semi-big clients, to be fair, but mainly it's just helping firefighting, which is great, and doing the end-of-year accounts. So I do that. We have 4 giant French lot bunnies that I look after. That keeps me occupied. I've left them roaming outside in the garden. So I clean them out every couple of days. I look after them. They're a challenge. But I look after the house. Of course, business doesn't just happen Saturday and Sundays, even though we run it.
All the booking of appointments and everything else to do.
Booking of appointments, the dress chasing.
Yeah.
We've got maybe 50 brides that are expecting their dresses this year. That all needs making sure that's coming in.
Yeah.
We check with our designers every day. So there's a lot to do with that. And of course, we've got future plans. We're not unambitious people.
So you were telling me about your online
Thanks for bringing me back on track. So very briefly, as I've been going through this journey of being a man in the bridal business, the first thing that struck me, and I'll come back to your question in a second, was when we opened the doors on the first Saturday, we were fully booked. It was great. People wanted to come to a new bridal studio. Let's say we had 7 bookings in. I can't quite remember the figure. And I thought, 7 bookings.
And this is just the first day.
First day. Each dress we've got £1,500 in profit, let's say, in GP. Right? But we've got no real costs. Electric, red is for nothing. I'm like, okay, so I'm going 7 times 1,500. We're fully booked the next weekend. I'm like, we're going to be bloody millionaires here. This is fantastic. Turns out the first bride didn't buy a dress. Oh, why not? We've got 40 white dresses in a studio. She's getting married. She's got a budget that we want. Why she wants to look around. Next bride didn't buy a dress. Third bride didn't buy a dress. And this isn't a sales technique thing. This is that brides take their time buying dresses. For us, we want a blue suit.
It's the most important dress they're ever going to wear, isn't it?
And
the most important day of the year for them.
Of their lives.
Yeah.
Somebody once said to us, and it's something that the only phrase that I'll ever really repeat, it's the most self-expressive garment that a woman is ever going to wear. And that's why they take the time. And that's why we didn't sell anything first weekend. We didn't sell anything second weekend, even though we had 14 appointments. But we've learnt. Anyway, but what struck me through this bridal journey is that brides find us on Instagram. That's the only place we put any of our marketing effort. A bit of networking, but it really is for my own benefit rather than to. And we spend a fortune on Instagram. Fortune. Hundreds and hundreds of pounds. Not so much on Google anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm an avid Facebook user. That's my demographic, uses Facebook. And on these Facebook groups, weddings on a budget, weddings Lancashire, where do I find a dress? I'm looking for a black dress. I'm looking for a blue dress. And it struck me.
Black dress for a wedding.
Oh, black dresses are in.
We'll talk about that later.
We'll come back to that.
Fashion.
I want to find a Vera Wang dress. I want to find a Disney princess dress in Lancashire, in Yorkshire. Brides don't know where to go to find a dress. Some of them save their Pinterest and save their Instagram posts for years and years before, even before they're engaged.
Yeah.
But they don't know where to go.
One day I'll get married.
One day I'm getting married. And I want to wear something like this. Yeah. But then they lose their Instagram or whatever. And it struck me that there's no central platform for all the bridal studios to be compared to each other, to push what they do, to have their designers on there, and also their events. Yeah. Events are a huge thing in bridal. Weren't there. I thought, that's interesting. So I did a bit of research, asked a few people in the industry, and it's quite a close-knit industry, as you'll imagine. It doesn't exist. So I thought, I'm going to invent it. I'm going to build it. So about 2.5 years ago, I started on this journey of building the booking.com for bridal studios. And it's taken 2.5 years of testing, of money, frankly, of asking people's opinion. And we are launching in about 6 weeks.
Cool.
And that's where we're at. So we're going to have there's 3,000 stores in the UK right now. We're going to have 2,000 stores on there immediately. So you can go on there, you can look at every single bridal studio that we have, and you can compare them. If you want a black Vera Wang wedding dress in Portsmouth, put that into the search. It'll tell you what store sells them dresses. And you can book your appointment direct through our platform.
Amazing.
That's it.
Sounds simple enough.
The best ideas are the most simple, aren't they?
They are, aren't they?
And it doesn't exist, by the way, it doesn't exist in Europe, it doesn't exist in America. So we're actually looking at, we've had interest from Denmark, and I'll come back to Denmark in a second, from somebody who wants to take that on, although it's a smaller market, a lot smaller market, take that on over there because it's a similar market but smaller, and we think it'll work across Europe. So we're actively looking for investment. If you can put your hand in your pocket, Paul, that'd be extremely kind.
How much are you looking for?
We're on a raise at the minute of 420,000 to market it. We're at the marketing stage now. And we've got a couple of investors, me being one of them. Yeah. And we're always looking for more people to get involved. Anyway, that's not a punt.
No, but it's really interesting because we often talk to people who are growing the businesses and scaling the businesses, and they're looking for investment of one form or another from different people. And it might not be me, it might be, but there are lots of different contacts out there in the marketplace. So are you specific? Are you looking for a certain kind of investor? Are you looking for VC kind of investment, venture capitalist investment? Are you looking for...
private, and I've got a very specific reason why it's private. So we are, as a company, SEIS registered, which is, as you'll know. And we're really proud of being SEIS because not everybody gets it, which means that, it has some benefit from capital gains and income tax, and it's not the platform maybe to go into that. But effectively, it's less of a risk than putting £250,000 into other things that aren't SEIS. Yeah, so we're SEIS. So we're looking for someone who's got made some decent money in the last tax year, who wants to then get rid of some income tax. Yeah, because that would be great for us.
You thought about giving Richard Branson a call? Maybe go into the bridal market.
Yeah, if I had his details, maybe I haven't tapped up any of my what we call wealthy contacts yet. Maybe it's that fear of rejection again, Paul.
Well, you need to if you want the money. Maybe you got to ask. You want the money, you got to ask. You got to have first thing. You got to get a pitch deck together and.
True that. And my pitch deck has changed since we first started 2 years ago. And I can't believe 2 years ago I was out there looking for investment of a couple of £100,000 to build it. Now, we're bootstrapped now. We found it through business and other things. It's built, or it'll be finished in 6 weeks. So it's maybe a lot easier to raise. I've got to just change the pitch deck now from we're looking to build it to just give us some money to market it. And I don't mean that flippantly, just give us, but we're looking to just get out there and spend it all on marketing now. And it's on future development as well. Yeah. So that's the future.
Look forward to hearing.
So you'll see that all over everywhere. Thank you.
We'll have to get you back on in a few months, see how it's going.
Oh, I'd love to.
So, Liam, there's a lot of questions that I've got floating around my head about various bits of what we've talked about.
Yeah, of course.
The main thing for me is where you get your leads from. Now, without giving any trade secrets away, I think pretty much everybody will do pretty much the same thing. But you've talked about networking. You say that networking doesn't really contribute much to your business now.
No.
But it did to the other businesses that you were involved with, the financial services business, mortgage company, etc. Do you still go networking now?
Yeah, I do, yes.
Is it more just for socialising, or is there a reason? Is there a bigger reason behind it?
I do less networking than I did. You'll know, Paul, that I went to every networking event in Lancashire, which...
We used to bump into each other 3 times a week, didn't we?
Well, and it was very pleasant. Yeah. It was very pleasant. But I think I was a bit of a chasing my own tail a little bit. I think I wanted to be that Lancashire person. I think I had a different role within... I was involved in the franchise of BNI, and I did want to be that Lancashire person. But actually, I think I was... lying to myself, really, when I wanted to say that. I wanted to be that ego. I didn't really want that. I don't know what it was that I wanted. So now I go to very limited networking. Mainly because, am I going to find many brides at networking events? Well, actually, weirdly, I found one only last week, ironically. But so you find the odd one. But now I do it to understand what's going on in the world. certainly in Lancashire. I'm a very proud Lancastrian. To understand what's going on in Lancashire, understand who's the power players and who's moving and who's doing what and whatnot and things like that. And also, I do it just to get out there. Because honestly, I'm a very proud house husband, but I love going to a meal, and we go to an event in central Lancashire once a month. It's a highlight of my month.
Yeah.
I love going there, talking to people, hosting a table. It feeds something inside me.
It's one of the challenges when you're working from home. If you're doing that a lot of the time, you get out on a weekend, obviously, for the coffee shop, and you can hear them there. And for people who work from home, you get cabin fever sometimes.
Absolutely.
And if you're not social, I'm a very social person. I like talking to people. It's one of the reasons I started this podcast, just to make sure that people who come and talk to me, please come and talk to me. Did you hear the desperation in my voice? When it was actually Sean who rang you, wasn't it? So for me, socialise. Different people network for different reasons. I think you've got to be clear on that, because a lot of people say, should I go networking to get clients? And I'll say, yeah, absolutely, give it a go. Test and measure whether it works for you.
Absolutely.
And different networking groups are very different outcomes for people. There are some networking groups where people do go just to be sociable. If they work on their own, there's nothing better than getting together with a group of other business owners who are in similar situation, chew the fat, see what's working, what isn't working. And the number of inquiries you will get as a result of that might not be very high.
Fair.
There are other networking groups that are out there, like we mentioned BNI, who are very focused on lead generation. And with BNI, you've got to go, right, I need at least a day a week to do BNI. It's not just about turning up for a meeting. You're encouraged to take visitors. You're encouraged to give referrals and receive referrals from other people. You're encouraged to get to know everybody else's businesses so you can refer them to other people. So that is really a lead generation network. And you really, it's not necessarily about getting what you pay for, but you've just got to have a look at the different networking groups that are out there and figure out what your goals are for networking. And also to see whether your target market either attends those groups or is associated with the people who are in those groups before you decide what's going to work for you, I think.
I agree.
And I've been a president of a BNI chapter.
You have?
And I'm still in the same networking group that we talked about before, the Business Network. And Karen Thames Business Network almost gets a shout out on almost every single podcast that we do, I have to say.
Brilliant.
And that's great network, and it's been very good to us over the years, both in terms of making new relationships, getting referrals, and finding clients through that group. So networking is one. You mentioned Instagram as well, and you said you spend on Meta ads for Instagram?
Yeah. We about between £300 and £400 a month we spend on Instagram. But it's where our target market lives.
Yeah.
They live on Instagram. They
looking at pictures.
Look at pictures, liking, scrolling. Yeah. And Melissa is our target market. Yeah. Melissa is early 30s, solicitor professional, loves a cocktail on a Friday night, let's go and walk in on a Sunday. She's absolutely target market. And she spends her life when she's not working and not in the studio on Instagram. She does. She sits there, she scrolls. And that is okay because, listen, I'm a slightly older generation than her, but I wouldn't think of scrolling on Instagram for 2 hours a night. But that's what she does, and that's where we get our clients from. Yeah. So Instagram is everything in our world. In the wedding world, everything. Pinterest, not as much, although we get some interaction. Facebook, no interaction at all. None. We've not had one bride in 4 years from Facebook. None.
Okay.
And we track that.
So apart from Instagram, and obviously you'll test and measure the success of that, how much you spend in, how many leads, inquiries do you get, how many turn up for appointments, how many actually buy dresses, and how much profit
of course.
So whether you get any return on investment from it.
I've got a master spreadsheet.
Yeah. Oh, I love a good spreadsheet. I love a good
Just
spreadsheet.
carries on and carries on.
Yeah. Numbers, like we said before, numbers are the language of business. You've got to know where it's coming from and whether for every £300 you spend, are you getting a dress back?
Absolutely right.
A dress sale out of it. So I think that's really important. What about other forms, apart from Instagram, which is your main one? Do you have any other...
wedding fairs.
Right.
Or called wedding showcases now.
Yeah.
Used to be called fairs. We maybe do 3 or 4 a year. This actually links into networking in that our best wedding showcases have come from networking. James's Places are a very good feeder of showcases. They contact us and we'll go and show our dresses there. But showcases are really good for us. Yeah. It's actually just that getting out and seeing people. Yeah.
And is that about having good relationships with the venues?
Yes. Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah. That's it, really. And our best client for the wedding showcases came from Karen's event because James's Places were or are a member there. Yeah, it's trying, although I think the wedding industry is still very cliquey. And I actually think that they don't like to move away from what they know to somebody new. And we are still a new entrant into the industry.
Well, it's not just the wedding industry. Everybody would say, everybody would say to me, my industry is unique. But every sector that I talk to clients in or prospects in, they will say the same thing.
Yeah, fair.
People stick to what they know. They'll stick with, but it's about relationships. If you think about it this way, if you get a supplier who is a really good supplier, and then somebody else comes along that you don't know, who are you likely to carry on? You're likely to carry on with the supplier that you know best, who gives a great service. You've always had, when your back's against the wall, they'll deliver for you, to somebody that you've never met. And the job of the person that you've only just met is to be there and build up relationship and credibility with you until you have a problem with somebody that you need to go to them for.
Very true.
Yes, you're always going to have that challenge, whatever sector you're working in, I think.
Very
people
true.
stick to what they know and the people that they enjoy working with. And you've got to work hard to get past that. So, the brand has got to be out there. So eventually somebody will come along and say, Liam, we've got a problem with our existing supplier. We'd really like to talk to you.
Agreed.
Because you're such a lovely family. You work so well at what you do. We've had some great feedback from you. Can you come and talk to us? So it's about building up rapport and relationship.
Who was it that said, and I can't remember, but I do use it a lot, that success is 90% just turning up or something like that. So just actually being there.
Yeah.
Rather than going, and there are days when we think, actually, we don't really want to do that. We've got other things on and it's a Sunday and we haven't had a day off for 3 months. But I remind myself that actually just turning up, if we didn't turn up, we've got no chance of being in there. But if we turn up, we've got at least a little bit of a chance.
10% inspiration, 90% perspiration.
Yeah, I like that. That's very good. I'm taking that.
Yeah. Venues are another great one.
Yep.
What about other kinds of partnerships? Because obviously the venues doing those showcases. Do you have any other kinds of partnerships?
Yeah, I on personal partnerships really, but we work with a very select few of other suppliers. So hair and makeup artists, photographers. Our industry is big on collaboration for photo shoots. So we create all of our own social media content. We don't use stock imagery. So we get together once a month with some suppliers and we create content. It's a huge thing in the wedding industry. So we have a photographer, a florist, hair and makeup. We network for the day. We get dinner together. We get a model in from somewhere and we just create loads of content. And that then, because then when that photographer goes to have a first meeting with a client, they say, have you got your dress yet? No, I haven't. You need to speak to Melissa and Liam. So the theme on this bit really is relationships. You're absolutely right, and that's really what matters with us. So we even more so that our 4 best friends in the industry came to our wedding last year because we started collaborating with them, but we invited them to our wedding.
I didn't get an invite.
Now, Paul. Now,
right.
here.
I won't hold that against you.
If I've got a defence, we had 18 people at our wedding.
That's all right.
But you were 19, but there just wasn't enough chairs.
God. It's funny, I'm going to a wedding in a few weeks, actually. It's a friend of my other half, Mandy, and there's only, I think, 18 people going to that wedding.
Oh, it's the best.
So Mandy's doing all the sort of...
really?
She's an event manager by background. She's doing the organisation for them and helping them out, setting everything up. So I'm an unpaid volunteer, putting the marquee up, putting the marquee down, etc., etc.
It's the best. We couldn't imagine having a large wedding.
No.
Couldn't. 18 people was perfect for us.
When I got married, I buggered off to Kenya. Got married.
Did you?
Got married in Kenya. We said to anybody who wanted to come, do you want to come? But nobody came. It's great.
Well, that's great.
It's 2003. It's a long time ago now. And we had a couple of Masai Mara tribal dancers who walked us up to the little wooden chapel in the game reserve that we were in the hotel grounds that we had the wedding in.
A dream.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
A dream. I think if we could have got away with that, then we would have done. But I think my mum and mother-in-law would have.
We did have a bit of a party when we got back.
Yeah,
we invited
fair
everybody
enough.
out,
Yeah.
Party when we got back.
Great.
Anyway, it's about you, mate.
So,
okay, I'm just aware that time is moving on.
Listen,
So we've got a couple of
day.
quick fire questions for you.
Yeah.
Question number 1 is, although you never did anything else but run your own business, if you had a piece of advice for somebody who was thinking about going into business, a younger person maybe who's thinking about going into business now, who's not currently running their own business, what would be your biggest sort of take home for them, do you think?
have a mentor that is not a family member. If you can get them unpaid, of course. Have a mentor, have someone that's done it before that can guide you through them initial stages of business.
And why did you say not a family member?
Because it's well picked up on, because I had an unofficial mentor, which was my dad.
Yeah.
But my dad saw things in a different way. He didn't really have the time either because he was doing other things. And I don't think he gave me complete honest advice because he maybe thought that it would hurt my feelings on things. Especially now looking back, I didn't know I was doing things wrong at the time. I just didn't. No one makes a bad decision willingly. But I just think he thought, I've got too much on. I've also don't want to hurt his feelings. He'll get on with it. And at the time we were making all right money, so it didn't really matter. But I would have done a lot better in my career by having someone who's been there before and gone, actually, whoever the person is, have you thought about this? If you make this decision, this is the knock-on effects. Or even things like VAT registration. Frankly, we couldn't do it on the internet back in the day, so it was a form and sent away. But it's still a minefield now.
Yeah.
And I do believe that there is a real lack of mentorship for young people in business. I don't know how they're going to solve that, and it's not a topic for today. But I think having a mentor, unofficial or official, is the only thing that someone needs to think about when starting a business.
It's very kind of you to say that because obviously in terms of what we do as a coach and training business.
Absolutely.
One of the things that struck me then is when you said there's not a lot of mentorship around for young people, and I haven't prompted you to say that. No. I completely agree with you. And we have a charity that we support that grew out of Action Coach, but is now an independent registered UK charity called the Yes Foundation. Yes is YESS, Young Entrepreneur Smart Start. Nice. And it is a 17-week programme of free business education for 12 to 22-year-olds.
Brilliant.
So the practical stuff, not business theory, but getting you thinking like an entrepreneur, thinking like a business owner.
Do they have to have a business ready to go?
No, 12-year-olds.
12
to 22. So you can be...
Okay, fair enough, yeah.
So you can be still at school, you can be a young person at college, at university. You could actually be in working for somebody. You could be an employer and you go, actually, we've got 20 apprentices here who are between 16 and 20. Why don't we put them through this? What would you rather have? Would you rather have somebody who thinks like a business owner or would you rather have somebody who's just doing a job? And it's about business and life skills, really, business and life skills for young people, to get them into the position where if they wanted to, they could actually start a business.
Brilliant.
And it's online with there's like videos to watch and a weekly facilitation session, either run online. We now have some private schools who are running it or are going to run it as part of the curriculum.
Nice.
We've got groups who are running it as extracurricular activities, and then we run open ones where an individual can just book on and join in with the next session that's running. And it's some of the videos that I've seen of young people who've gone through the programme have been absolutely brilliant. And they come out the other side and some of the learnings are absolutely fantastic. So I'll put the link in the show notes for anybody.
Yeah.
What about, obviously we're in uncertain times at the moment as we're recording this. Trump's still bombing
doing his thing.
And we don't know what's going to happen. Price go up, price go down, or various things are going to happen. What kind of advice would you have? What would be number one piece of advice for business owners out there right now who are in business, who are finding it tough?
Two-parter answer. The first one is one word, niche. Part A, niche. Find your niche, stick to your niche. Part B is I read an interesting article. I'm an avid Guardian reader, you would be surprised to hear. An interesting Guardian article a couple of weeks ago, maybe now, and it was all about the economy. And said that actually, with what's going on, whether you're listening to this in a year's time, I think the after effects of what's gone on are going to be quite significant. It's that middle ground of earners that's going to be hit the hardest. The rich will always be rich. The rich are only ever going to get richer. And fine, that's good for them. Let's send them off to their island. But they're always going to have money to spend. The poor, the working class are going to be hit hard. But frankly, they're not getting to that middle class anytime soon. And this is not a political conversation, but this is the analysis. But it's going to be the middle ground that's going to be hit first. And that middle ground have got a choice to make. They either can aspire and make more money and buy more things that cost more money, or they can cut their budget, tighten the belts, and buy things that are cheaper. So if you're a product or a brand that's in that middle ground, that's trying to attract that middle ground, you're going to have an issue. So what do? Do you put your product and your service aiming it at more budget and having that we all know what a budget service looks like? Or do you elevate your product and go for the more lucrative, higher price point? And can your product do that? So my advice right now is that what is your product attracting right now? If it's attracting people from the middle ground, then I think you're going to have an issue. And I think that you need to look at where it sits and who you want to attract. A niche, and actually, come back to the networking as the last point, through our networking journey, the thing that I'm really keen on, I only learned this from 2020 onwards, was target market is absolutely key. And whenever I ask the question, who can you help? Who do you want to talk to? And somebody answers, we can help anybody. A little bit of me shrivels up inside. Because although, by the way, I think that's uneducation rather than anything else.
Absolutely.
I'm not saying that's a wrong answer, but I think that a brand, a personality, a service has to niche. Where are you niching? Because I think you're going to have an issue in the middle ground.
Marketing starts with understanding exactly who your target market is and what the problem is that you are trying to solve for.
Absolutely.
We've been lucky enough to be involved with a guy called Daniel Priestley. Do you know Daniel Priestley?
No, I've heard the name, but forgive me if I don't know exactly.
Sometimes people will consider him a bit of a Marmite character. I've heard some people say they love him, some people who aren't so keen. He's written some brilliant books, Key Person of Influence, Scorecard Marketing. He's got a business called Score App as well.
Okay.
And traditional way of doing things, people would go, I've got this brilliant product, maybe a software product, whatever. I'm going to build this product and then I'm going to go out and try and sell it to everyone because I believe there's a market for it because it's a brilliant product. And they build this brilliant product and spend a fortune on building this brilliant product and then go out there and go, why isn't anybody buying it? Why isn't everybody buying it? And what they fail to do is do market research in enough detail that they've figured out that there is actually a really precise target market who've got a real problem that this product that they're developing can solve. And that target market's got the money to pay for it. So what Daniel Priestley does, because he launches a lot of products and services consistently, is you look at supply and demand and look at demand creation. So there's a story that they talk about in marketing when you're at university about bananas and whether there's demand there for bananas. And if you've got 100 people and you've only got 5 bananas, 100 people want bananas, you've only got 5 bananas, you can charge more for the bananas. If you've got 100 bananas and only 5 people want them, then you've got an issue because the pricing for your bananas is going to be very different. And so he's got a product called Score App that looks after that. Basically, you don't need to do it with Score App, but it's a brilliant product to use. You build a landing page, you put your marketing out there to say that we're looking at a new service, a new product or whatever that's going to do this and solve this and this problem. If you're interested, sign up to the wait list.
Nice.
So it's basically a wait list product. And then it goes on to ask you maybe 4 or 5 questions that defines who you are for the company. And it might say, in terms of the product we've just described to you, what would be the price point that you think it's good value at? Nice. Is it a 10 to 20 pounds? Is it a 90 to 150 pounds? Whatever it happens to be. And finally, is there anything else about the company that would be interesting for us to know? And if they get enough people signing up to the wait list after they've done the marketing to get people on the wait list, then they develop the product.
Yeah, interesting.
And you can use it for all sorts of different circumstances. If you wanted to start, for in my instance, if I wanted to start a new program up, because we have a group coaching program, so we're starting a wait list for our next group coaching and training program. Now, these are numbers just pulled out of the air, but if you wanted 60 people signed up to your program at, I don't know, 300 quid a month, then you would say, okay, we need 1,800 people on the wait list before we launch it, because we know on average then we might get somewhere between 10, maybe around 10% of people signing up for it. But let's say, so 10% of 1,600 people is 160. Let's say we get 5%, so we know that we'll have enough people signed up to this program. So it's about making sure that you get enough people on the wait list, because when you launch the program to those 1,800 people, you know that not everybody's going to go on the program, and you're only getting a certain percentage of those, so you'll get the sign-ups that you need for that program. But it's about making sure there's enough demand before you build and launch the product.
Interesting.
So you get 1,800 people on a wait list, you've got enough people there to build the product or build the program or whatever, launch a program that you want to launch.
It's proof of concept before you've spent any money, really.
Yeah. So, that wait list scenario is a really interesting proposition for people. But it comes down to what you said, focus on your target market, figure out your niche, be really focused on that niche. So the people that you're talking to feel like you're talking to them.
Absolutely.
Rather than talking to everybody. Because if you talk to everybody, you're talking to nobody.
And I couldn't agree more. Even and this with all genuineness, every syllable we write on social media is whether that will be responded to by our target market. Everything, our literature, the way we even, frankly, the way we even talk in our coffee bar now is all appealing to our target market. That late 20s female, and the way that we dress, everything. So it has to consume you. So find that target market.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I've got one question for you
Please.
about the people who come into your shop. So they've found you through some means, and I assume you ask everybody how they first came across the name. So,
as best we can.
Do you do any of the research while you've got them in the shop?
Do we do any of the research?
Because they're your target, they're in the shop, so it must be target market. Do you ask them any other questions while you're in?
No, because it distracts. It's quite a quick process. We have 2 hours with them, but that goes by very quickly. They want to get in dress straight away, which is the thing we should do, get them in dress within 5 minutes. But then it distracts away from the selling. So we do, if they buy, we can then sit them down at the desk. We go through the contract and everything. Then we say, what else would you want with us? Would you want a veil? Would you want shoes, et cetera, et cetera? But we don't have that process, and maybe that's a failing, but it's just not our sales technique when they don't buy from us, because they're with their mum and their sister and the giddy and et cetera, et cetera. So it's just not quite how it works.
Thinking about that. I was more thinking about your marketing, because one of the keys for some of our clients is finding out where else those people hang out.
Okay,
So you said everything comes from Instagram.
Yes,
and
it
that's
does.
because everything comes from Instagram.
So fair.
One question which might be interesting for you to ask them is, where else do you look?
Yeah, true. Where else do you look?
Where else have you explored?
Yeah, maybe we should. We'd have to do that after the event. We'd have to do that with a follow-up
However
survey.
you do it.
But maybe we should. Yeah, where else do you look for it? You're right in what you say, though. The issue, I'm not thinking of issues, but we know that our brides find us on Instagram, so that they might not be looking elsewhere. But I suppose we should ask that, yes. But I don't know what difference that would make to us if 100% of our brides find us on Instagram. Maybe we should do more on Google.
100% of the people who come to you find you on Instagram, because that's where you do your main marketing.
True that. Maybe we should do more. But
you don't know where else to go if you're not.
No.
So, and it's one of the things that often happens.
Yeah, fair.
People focus on one marketing strategy. And I'm not saying this is wrong, because if it's producing results, then if it works, do more of it. And I always say, if it works, do more of it. The challenge that a lot of businesses have is that they're reliant on one strategy. And if Meta change their algorithms at some point, or something goes wrong with the platform, then all of it, and I've seen this happen to clients as well, where all of a sudden their marketing leads drop through the floor because they're only on one platform, or they've only got one marketing strategy. The best marketing strategies are built on a sort of 10 by 10. So you get 10 different strategies that are each producing 10% of your leads. You've got a massive business there and a very solid marketing platform.
Fair.
And if all of your leads come from Instagram, because they come from Instagram, you might say, we found you on Instagram, or they make a booking through Instagram, or whatever, however it works, then you've got confirmation bias there. We get all our leads through Instagram, so Instagram works. We don't do anything else because we know it's through Instagram.
And I suppose that's where my new platform comes on, because I want that to be the alternative. I know Instagram's not going to last forever. Facebook hasn't lasted forever. It's still there, but it doesn't create anything for us. And I suspect it doesn't create anything for our luxury end of the market, because it's not luxury. Yeah. Google does, because it's...
Do you do Google advertising?
We did. We don't anymore. We don't.
Not getting it.
It's
ROI.
just, we were quite amateur at it back in the day. Yeah. We did it ourselves. And...
Right. You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, and we didn't have the budget at the time. Yeah. And frankly, I don't know if I said, let's spend £300 on Google ads and then pay an agency another £300 to do it, I actually don't think I'd still rather spend £600 on Instagram, because I know that it's going to generate us 100 brides every quarter. Yeah. So you're right. We do need to assess that more, and Instagram won't last forever. No. So that's where I hope my platform's going to come on.
I think one of the most interesting questions you could ask your brides is, like, whatever point that you are where you can take a breath with them, you just say, I know you found us through Instagram, but can I just ask you one question? When you first started looking, what was the very first thing you did when you started looking for a wedding dress? Did you go and ask friends? Had you seen something you were looking in a magazine? Did you just go on Google and say, find me a wedding dress?
Yeah, fair.
What was the very first thing that you did? Because it might, as you build up over time, if you ask that question of everybody who comes in, you'll build up a maybe different picture.
Yeah.
Some of them will say, we just went to Instagram.
Yeah.
Some will say, we already knew you because we've been looking for years.
Yeah.
But you've got to be aware of that confirmation bias and keep your eyes open to other things.
Interesting. So that's one of the reasons, actually, sorry, I'm not lying when I say Instagram, but that's one of the reasons why we opened the coffee shop next to it, is that we get more footfall maybe now. So whilst we know that people follow us from Instagram and they book via that link, actually people find us because our target market for the coffee shop is the same as the bridal studio. Right. So they come in for a coffee and then they might not be engaged, but in a year's time they are engaged. Well, actually, I've been into that coffee shop, I've seen the sign. Yeah. So perhaps, maybe I need to ask more. Great
there
point.
You go.
That's why you're here.
What was it you said about mentors?
Have a mentor. I absolutely agree. Have a mentor.
They might ask you the questions and just challenge.
Have a mentor. It's my number one regret, although you can't have regrets about things you don't know about.
No, you just learn from it. It's your number one learning. It's not a regret, it's a learning.
Yeah.
Listen, one final question then.
Please.
You're obviously a learned man. You've
like
learned through life. So is there a particular book or books or podcasts that you follow or people that you follow, things that you look at from a business perspective?
Podcasts have never been my thing. However, I'm now going to be listening to this full time.
Lancashire Business Stories, available on Apple, Spotify and our Action Coach YouTube channel.
I did like the videos. I've watched the videos over the weekend. I've not got enough attention span to listen to a podcast. I just don't have that. And when I'm working, I need silence. Can't have the radio on, can't have anything. I need to be concentrated on my laptop. So the podcasts aren't my thing, but books are. So I sit in an evening and I read a book. I've only recently got involved, probably since COVID, in business books. I like my fiction. But one of the books that I keep coming back, two books I keep coming back to. One is Raving Fans by Sheldon somebody or other. Maybe you can put that in the description. And the other is by the guy who started Patagonia. Again, the name will come to me, but a really interesting book about, he started Patagonia and he had a real purpose about wanting to help the environment.
Right.
Now,
I'm looking at a book on Raving Fans in here somewhere.
Yeah, Sheldon. We're going to
bear with us, audience.
Just hold the line, callers.
Bear with us, audience.
Yeah.
It's on here somewhere.
Oh, there at the bottom. There, Ken Blanchard.
Yeah,
at the
Ken
bottom.
it's one of the like the 1 Minute Manager sort of
Yeah.
series. Yeah.
I come back to it.
I've got a spare copy if anybody wants one.
Put your address in the comments. Yes, so it's I always come back to it on my bedside table, and the story of Patagonia, just about customer service, and I do like them business journeys book. I know he's maybe not the flavour of the month, but I like Richard Branson's book. I like that story of entrepreneurship. And this guy started from nothing. But they're the two books I would recommend. Yeah.
There's a brilliant book that would be great for you, I think. I think I must have lent it to somebody unless it's in here hiding somewhere. It's a book called Unreasonable Hospitality.
Okay.
By a guy called Will Guidera.
Okay.
And he took a restaurant in New York and turned it into the best restaurant in the world. Basically.
Interesting.
It's a fantastic example of providing world-class customer experience and going above and beyond in every single thing
Love that.
do.
Love that.
It is absolutely superb, and I think you'd find it a really good read. And I think it's available on
customer service is everything. I love that sort of stuff. Attention to detail. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'd be very interested in that.
Brilliant. So how do people find Feathers and Florence then?
Guess. Instagram. They find us there at Feathers and Florence. They can go on our website. There's a lovely picture of me and Melissa on there. Yeah, we're on there. Google us and come for a coffee. Any day of the week apart from Sunday. We'd love to see you. We just serve coffee and donuts.
Brilliant.
That's all we serve.
Where's the shop?
In Grimsor in Preston. Grimsarg. Just off the M6. We are 2 minutes off the M6 at Junction 31A.
Brilliant.
We'd love to see you.
Call in for a
And
coffee.
you'll have jokes on a Saturday because I'm there.
It's been amazing. Thank you so much, Liam.
so much.
I really appreciate your time. I've had a really good time.
Thank
you very much. Speak to you soon.